All right, viewers. Well, welcome back to day 3 of the Chevette teardown and so forth. Got all the floor cut out in the back, as you can see here. Got the 2x3 frame rails, rear frame rails up, and kind of tacked in on the rockers. As you can tell, I had to remake the rockers. So when I cut this cross member, I had cut it to fit the floor pan here, and that's apparently what I was going to weld to, but then I have to get in here and replace the rockers because I had the jack stands underneath the old rocker panels, and they were so rusty that they were starting to collapse back here in the back near the wheel tub once I pulled the rear end out. So I'm making different rocker panels for it, inner and outer on both sides, from front, because they're rusted up there too, all the way back here. And I'm not shaping them like the factory did. As you can tell, they're pretty much going to be flat from here, and then I'm putting a bend in down here to put in my welds, pinch welds, whatever. And then I'll go back every so often and run a little piece of rod or chisel or something up in between the welds to open it up so they can drain water and dirt and all that stuff. Then once I get back here, I'll trim this off once I already know that I'm going to have to cut some of the fender out to get the tire on. Just a standard stock Corvette rally wheel, 8.5 inch wheel. This is what I'm using for mock-up. Those are the 275 60 15 Mickey Thompson street radial. This tire actually measures right at 28 inches tall, with 32 pounds of air in it on this 8.5 inch rim. So I had to trim the wheel arches out here a little bit there and there. Now I'll clean them up later. Like I said, I'm going to have to replace some rusty metal, and I am going to replace the outer rocker panel on this side all the way to the front. So, but that's roughly what it's going to look like with the wheel. The wheel's going to go up a little farther than that. I know on camera it looks like a huge gap, but once you stand up, it's actually got a pretty decent look to it. So, I don't have a lot of room in the shop. I got a big storage table right in the middle of the shop full of stuff for people. But you can kind of get sorry about the glare, I can't control the sunlight, but you can kind of get an idea what it's going to look like with the hatch down. And this car had bumpers that stuck out because it had those little impact shocks mounted to the bumper, and then it went into the frame and bolted in. I'm taking those out, and I'm bolting both front and rear bumpers directly to the car to get rid of that gap. Back here, as you can tell, somebody had problems in the past, and they tried to booger weld some nuts in here, 3/8 nuts. Don't know what happened there. You know, this pan right here is kind of flimsy anyway. But I'm going to come off the frame rails in the back here. At first I was going to use 1/4 inch thick by 3 inch angle, but I got to kind of come down at an angle. So what I'll do is I'll come off the frame flush right in here with some 3/16 plate. I think that'll be plenty strong to hold that bumper nice and tight and secure, and then I'll just brace it with a piece of round tubing or something like that, which is kind of stitched in there at the front, kind of tacked in to kind of hold it. I can remove the jack, but I just chose to leave it in there. So obviously I'm going to have plenty of room for wheels. That's about where I want that wheel to ride in the car. So, and I got my mark made here. These wheel arches from the factory are not true circular. So I've made my marks where I'm going to cut it out, and I'll be getting rid of the outer fender well as well, and I'm going to be making them out of sheet metal and putting them in. A little bit of a daunting task, but you know, it ain't my first rodeo. So then over here, this wheel arch is all kinds of funky because of the filler neck that used to be there for the factory filler neck that went down here to the gas tank. So I'll be stitching the wheel wells that I make. They'll be one piece. They'll come over here and attach to the frame and attach to the body, and that's what will hold the body back here, as well as it bolted in back here. So that ought to be pretty daggone secure. All right, guys. Well, that's the update on the Chevette destruction. Kind of hopefully gives you kind of idea. Like I said, I'm gonna make this a leaf spring car, so it looks like I'm gonna be able to put a lot of wheel on this car, you know, wider wheel, but I'm not, because as you can see, these temporarily made up leaf spring brackets here show you that the leaf spring is going to be on the outside of the frame rail. Now I could still put it under the frame rail. I haven't made up my mind completely on that, so, but we'll see. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to make this video too long, but check it out. I like that. That's going to look good, especially once I raise it up another inch. And it's going to be a leaf spring car. I do like the actual style of suspension that was on the car to start with. Had the lower control arms and coil spring buckets on it, and then it had a I guess you just call it a panhard bar to keep everything centered. Pretty cool. I could upgrade and use that same style. I think that would actually be pretty nice. I know it'd be comfortable riding. But anyway, all right, enough yakking. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and if you're keeping up with this content, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Just click that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. If you have anything to say, leave a comment below, question, whatever. Just leave it in the comments below, man. And thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe.